Alright, welcome back to 2K14 Universe. I am Jitch and you're watching Superstars. There he is. WIKI the Dragon Steamboat.
Making his way to the ring. From Hawaii, weighing 237 pounds, WIKI the Dragon Steamboat.
I like the way that the Superstars logo saying we're in Philadelphia kind of like revealed his face as he was coming out there. That was kind of fun. So we're kicking things off here tonight with some action from the SmackDown Superstars to start off this week's Superstars episode, as it will be WIKI the Dragon Steamboat facing off against Scott Steiner. Believe it or not, somehow Scott Steiner's loss to the Great Khali resulted in him being the bottom-ranked superstar on the entire SmackDown roster. So, Steamboat getting a second match since returning. We'll see how he fares.
From Detroit, Michigan, weighing 276 pounds, Scott Steiner.
I gotta say, I feel that's a little unfair. I feel like Scott Steiner should definitely be ranked a lot higher than that. This guy has only ever suffered, I believe, the one loss. I think he defeated Ultimate Warrior when they faced off, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that one. I don't remember that well. That was many months ago that it was recorded, not when it was aired in the universe chronology and all that. But for me, that was months ago. I can't really remember, but I'm pretty sure Steiner won. I'm pretty sure Steiner has only ever lost that four-way, and I don't think Khali pinned Steiner. I think he pinned Punk again. So, I don't know. I have absolutely no idea what happened there. I do need to update the rankings because I feel like they're actually quite an interesting little thing. I haven't done them on the wiki in like ever. I think they're still like season 2s. By the time you're seeing this, they'll probably be up to date. I think what I might do just to like remind myself to update them is I might just make them this week that I've just recorded like updated. Because even though that could technically be a spoiler, I mean, A, people would have to have already known to have looked at them before I'm mentioning them right now. And B, it only shows the top 10 of each anyway, so you won't see the full rankings. And then on top of that, I don't think they'll have changed that much in the last week anyway from what they would have been the week before. They're not going to always mean too much, because I'm actually just going to... I used to try to like edit them and make them so that the ranks match kind of what I felt, but I think I'm actually going to let the ranks be what the game says they are, because I think that'd be more interesting to like disclose and see like how it changes. Obviously for some things I'm going to have to make some up, like the European Championship and Cruiserweight Championship contenders, because those belts aren't actually assigned to a brand at all, so those will have to be rankings that I actually do myself. But everything else, like tag titles and the Divas title and both the Intercontinental US, the tags, and the World, those will all be just whatever the game says, honestly. Just to kind of see how well they match with what I perceive, and maybe try to actually book around them a bit more too, because I kind of just ignore them at the moment. The only way I actually use them now is when I get to Superstars. I try to make sure that I only use people that are on the bottom half of the rankings, so if they're like rank 15 or lower, because I think there's 28 on each show. So yeah, if they're ranked like 15-ish or anything below that, then they're on the bottom half, and then I'll use them there. Interestingly enough, Ultimate Warrior is actually ranked number 3. I mean, it's not really that surprising, you know, because I get that it's using their background, which I can use too. I can talk about their background. I don't mind disclosing the fact that they existed in other universes, is what we refer to that as. Other realities. And they can have some kind of impression from the get-go with that. I'm not going to talk about them like they're nobody. I think my idea is that I prefer to use, like, legends that way. Like, when Hulk Hogan comes in, I can go, oh, this is an established legend in the wrestling industry making his first appearance in this universe. But I think when it's someone like, like The Shield and Big E, for example, it's more fun to treat them like they're actually new, because, well, at the time of this, they were new. which is why legends go on NXT. Some legends go on NXT. Generally, I try to go for some of the less notable legends. I know obviously Ric Flair is on NXT, but I think in the grand scheme of things, people like Warrior and Hogan had more of a mark on the modern wrestling fan than Ric Flair. Ric Flair had a more notable career overall than people like Warrior and Steiner. I'm not lying to you, you know. With Steamboat, it was literally just because he returned. But I actually thought just the concept of Ric Flair in NXT would be kind of more interesting anyway. But yeah, people like Goldberg and stuff. Like, I feel like I'm kind of looking at it from a more modern fan's perspective, because I'm very aware that if you ask your dad if he likes Ric Flair, he'll say he loved him. But I definitely think that he's more of a forgotten relic of the past, as opposed to someone like Hogan, who is literally, whether you like him or not, kind of the reason that wrestling took off in the first place. But I'm not trying to dispel people like Ric Flair before anyone gets upset at what I'm saying here. Without Ric Flair, there probably wouldn't be Hogan and so forth, you know? You could argue that Bruno Sammartino should be right at the top, because without him, none of this would have happened. But you could also argue that most people just don't really talk about Bruno Sammartino. Me mentioning his name right now is probably the first time someone has mentioned that today. I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I mean that in a he is just kind of ancient history and not a significant way. Anyway, focusing on the match, cover attempt from Steamboat. You can always tell that Superstars is the one where I get really casual. And he chops in a big strike there. Ricky Steamboat had a very interesting career so far in this universe. He was around from the beginning. He was in the first season a little bit, and he was in the second season a little bit. But he left last year and made his return this year. I don't know if perhaps he was just really hoping to turn things around upon his return, but so far this is only his second match since coming back, and obviously he's never been on SmackDown. That is something new for Steamboat, but he did suffer a loss to Punk upon his return. Right now, though, he's looking very impressive against Scott Steiner as he goes for the cover of that crossbody, and he actually beats Scott Steiner. Well, perhaps I spoke too soon about Ricky Steamboat.
Here is your winner, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Well, Steamboat is victorious. Scott Steiner is livid outside the ring, but that's neither here nor there. We have got another match coming your way up next as Brie Bella faces off against Summer Rae. It's our Divas contest of the night.
The following Divas contest is scheduled for one fall. Making her way to the ring from Phoenix, Arizona,
Brie Bella out first here tonight, and of course she currently holds somewhat of the victory over the Divas champion Natalya, something that the Bella twins have been insisting means they should be next in line for the Divas championship. Obviously, no one has a better claim for that championship right now than Lita, who is still recovering from some injuries back at Extreme Rules. Hopefully we'll have Lita back in action and able to fight Natalya, maybe on a bigger stage, something like Money in the Bank, which is coming now, I think, in just about a month's time. Speaking of which, I can't wait for the Money in the Bank qualifiers to start taking place over on Raw.
And approaching the ring from Raleigh, North Carolina, Summer Rae.
And here comes one of my favorite divas, an absolute legend, Summer Rae, making her way to the ring. This is a legend in the making, I'll tell you what. She has been very successful since her first night here on NXT. On Superstars, sorry. She made her first appearance on NXT, is I think why I managed to screw up my words there. Of course, she was in the corner of Fandango, her dance partner. Very interesting relationship between those two. You see, when Fandango is in action, she is dressed to dance and make her way to the ring with him, and then she has to leave ringside, and then she's allowed to return to ringside to kind of celebrate with him. But he doesn't seem to be present for her matches. One moment.
It's going to be a good one here. A good one? It's going to be a great one. Anytime the Divas are in action, it's great. What a match this is going to
It seems my neighbors are doing something noisy downstairs, so I'm sorry if you hear that. I thought that was a bunnies for a minute, but it was not.
And did you hear the impact on that kick?
They are kind of going a little ape shit right now. I gave them some cardboard. Bunnies love cardboard. Yeah, there's like a scraping noise. And if you can hear that, I think that's like some downstairs neighbors from the sounds of it. I can't really tell what direction it's coming from, to be honest, but it's kind of annoying me, but I can't really do anything about it because, you know, day-to-day life. Anyway, God, that is really distracting. Brie Bella, I think it would be very interesting to see if she could continue to build momentum. I remember once upon a time, this woman was nothing but pretty much arm candy for Justin Gabriel. I feel like she's actually come fairly far since then. Of course, that separation was never really a thing that I think happened. They kind of just went their separate ways more mutually, I think. Speaking of Justin Gabriel, I'm very interested to find out if that main event will be what it is advertised to be. Obviously, this past Wednesday on NXT, Roman Reigns made his debut, defeating Razor Ramon in an Earn Your Spot qualifier, which I thought was very unusual, but NXT management decided Roman Reigns would compete in an Earn Your Spot qualifier in his debut match. He won that match and defeated Razor Ramon, after which he said he didn't want to leave his brothers behind, so he was issuing a challenge to David Otunga to reunite the Nexus, and saying that him, Rollins, and Ambrose, the entire Shield, would compete against the entire former Nexus for 3 spots on the Raw roster. This could happen. I mean, I don't know what Gabriel or Barrett have to gain from this, but perhaps this could be an opportunity for those 3 to reunite and be an alliance once again, and I think that's enough of a benefit in a way, because I must admit right now I feel like that's 3 guys that are very much not what they used to be, and I think that working together could really benefit Otunga, Barrett, and Gabriel right now. So it's an interesting one. I mean, apparently Ziggler is due a United States Championship opportunity. I mean, sorry, Barrett is due a United States Championship opportunity. But also the Shield are supposed to be competing in an NXT Tag Team Championship match. So I don't really know what is going to happen with a lot of that as it currently stands. But that's the way it's all laid out right now. Summer Rae dropping the leg there on Brie Bella. We've only got a 2. As I say, you know, as the night is coming to an end, we will find out exactly what the deal is. Maybe it will just be Otunga and Roman, to be fair. Cover attempt here, and that's another victory for Summer Rae. I gotta think this woman at this point has got to be perhaps getting superstars in her rearview mirror. I feel like she's almost beyond this show by now. Summer Rae continues to be victorious, and I wonder when the Divas Championship will be in line for her. Well, anyway, it is now time for our main event. Will it be David Otunga against Roman Reigns in a one-on-one match to see if Roman can swipe Otunga's spot on Raw? Or will it be a Nexus reunion as they take on this new unit, the Shield, 3-on-3? We have it advertised as the 3-on-3 match. Whether or not that takes place, I don't know. But we do find out next. Perhaps this is confirmed to be a one-on-one match now. Of course, that's what it's advertised as.
On the way to the ring, he is a graduate of Harvard Law School. Weight 129 pounds.
Everything just went really robotic for me again. I really got to find out why that keeps happening. David Otunga. Well, he's out first. Whether or not that means Gabriel and Barrett are to follow, I don't know, but the Nexus never really lasted too long. They claim to be the most dominant group in the history of the business, and we never really saw much from that. I mean, they kind of passed around the United States Championship back in Season 1. They were very impressive in Season 1. They never really made it to Season 2, though. They imploded before then, so what happens now? Well, I mean, that's the music queued up, but is it going to be? Yes!
His partners from Cape Town, South Africa, weighing 213 pounds, Justin Gabriel.
Well, I guess in Justin Gabriel's case, there's not really much to lose here. He's definitely fallen from grace quite a bit lately, and obviously he had his issues with Kofi Kingston. They were kind of centralized around David Otunga. Maybe these two made up behind the scenes after Gabriel turned his back on Kofi. Perhaps this has been brewing for longer than we thought. Perhaps Roman just kind of helped push it forward. The question is, will their former leader be down for this reunion? I can't imagine as much, but I mean, is it him? There he is!
And their partner from Manchester, England, weighing 246 pounds, Wayne Barrett.
Well, even if it's just for one night only, they're at least agreeing to team up. None of them really donning the Nexus look, the Nexus style on the way to the ring, but for Barrett, I suppose perhaps this is a matter of he defeated Dolph Ziggler about a month ago on Superstars and was never given a United States Championship opportunity for that. So perhaps he feels NXT will treat him better, so he's open to the possibility of going there. Or perhaps he just wants to get more momentum before he does inevitably get this shot at Ziggler, assuming that is set to happen. Well, here come the new group over on NXT. You may not have seen them before. This may be your first time, but they could be on Raw as soon as this Monday if they win this match.
At a total combined weight of 699 pounds, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, The Shield.
Reigns and Ambrose look so weird in this game. Well, they have surrounded the ring. The Shield, working together as a unit, could be leaving NXT before they ever really got to make their impact down there. The Nexus might want to stick together if this happens. So starting things off, it's the two people that were contractually obliged to compete here tonight. The other, obligated, not obliged. The other four superstars in this match were kind of tacked on as part of Roman Reigns' extra challenge. But of course now it has been confirmed if Otunga, Barrett, or Gabriel eat a pinfall in this matchup. If they lose this match, whether they tap out, they get counted out, in any way, if they lose this match, then all three, Otunga, Gabriel, and Barrett, are down on NXT, whilst the Shield become an official part of Raw. Which really would mess things up quite a bit. As I said before, obviously I don't know if Barrett's aware. I mean, I know he's been campaigning for it, but he is due a US title shot, I'd imagine. It's got to be coming in the near future. And, you know, if he loses here tonight, he might have just lost that opportunity completely, because then obviously he can't challenge for a title. He's not on the brand anymore. And the same kind of goes for the Shield. They've got an upcoming NXT Tag Team title match against the Primetime Players this Wednesday on NXT, the main event of that week's episode. But if they win tonight's match, I don't think they can be the Tag Team Champions of NXT. They're not even on the brand. Obviously, the Primetime Players could win, but you're running too much of a risk of the championship then leaving the brand that it was introduced for. Catches Otunga here, sends him into the corner of the Shield. And in comes Seth Rollins. We haven't really seen these guys work too much as a unit, but I mean, we've seen 2 out of 3. We've seen Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, and they were impressive enough to be able to defeat Andre the Giant and King Kong Bundy by working together. So I'm going to have to wish the former Nexus the best of luck. I can't really call them the Nexus because that didn't really feel like much of a reunion the way they came out here tonight. It felt more like 2 guys willing to take a gamble alongside a former ally. Perhaps Roman Reigns struck a nerve when he said that the Shield were going to be the greatest group you've ever seen. And that's why the Nexus accepted. They just didn't want to see that unfold. Rake to the eyes of Seth Rollins, and David Otunga takes control now. Lawyer or superstar? What a great question. So smart. David Otunga is in control of Seth Rollins right now. And the thing is, we saw this with Dusty Rhodes. You might be impressing down on NXT, but are you ready for the superstars of Raw? That's why you have to go through the bottom-ranked superstars of Raw, is because without it sounding disrespectful, NXT is ranked below Raw and SmackDown. Completely. That is just, unfortunately, that is a stone-cold fact. It is ranked below Raw and SmackDown. So you have to work your way up from NXT, and that starts with trying to defeat the superstars ranked at the very bottom. You're breaking that glass ceiling, you're finding your way to the bottom of the Raw and SmackDown rankings. By the way, I will be manually manipulating those rankings. If someone wins an Earn Your Spot match, then they will be going, like, right to the bottom of the Raw or SmackDown's ranks, so that they have to work their way up and not just immediately be, like, right at the top. Because I'm very aware if the Shield win this, they're going to be ranked really high. And that's not correct. I believe Barrett is actually ranked fairly high himself on the Raw rankings, but that's the thing as well, is obviously the people that go to NXT, they will be considered quite big names down in NXT. So you'd have to think in this situation, Barrett, Gabriel, and Otunga, it's very much big fish in a small pond, sure, but their stocks do kind of increase in a way. They become a lot more important down there. Now, can any of those 3 beat Andre the Giant? I don't know. That's what we could find out. Nice move there by Justin Gabriel. And Otunga and Barrett very quickly jumping to the aid of Gabriel as he goes for the cover here on Rollins. But Ambrose seems confident, and for a moment there I was worried that wasn't warranted, and we'd already seen the Shield lose. It's his first fall to the finish. This is not a Survivor Series style 6-man tag, so this one will end very quickly when it does. I hope it ends fairly soon though, because my head is really fucking hurting right now, and I don't know why, but I'm not really cut out for me recording right now because of that. David Otunga looking very happy in the corner there at the control that the Shield have the Nexus have managed to take of the Shield. Barrett and Ambrose now in the ring.
What a match this is going to be.
And it's interesting to see Barrett in. As I say, he's definitely the one with the most momentum out of those 3. In fact, I wouldn't even call him a bottom-ranked superstar on Raw. He's very much in this Earn Your Spot match because he volunteered to be. That could really help Otunga save his spot on Raw. Pump handle slam there by Wade Barrett. And, ooh, floored. Ooh, feisty. Dean Ambrose, float over neck breaker. That head hurts.
Wade Barrett from behind. Oh, reversal. Oh. And he missed that one.
Barrett a little bit distracted there by something as Ambrose catches both arms there, dropping him down, cover attempt. But yep, Barrett's hand was in the ropes. Don't know how the referee saw that, but he did. And there's that headlock driver by Dean Ambrose. Won his debut match over on NXT with that one, beating Virgil. And Gabriel might be the only reason that Barrett stayed in this match right there. And obviously kept all 3 of them on Raw.
Here we go. Tree of woe.
Ambrose with a big elbow.
These guys are giving it
Choking
absolutely
out Wade Barrett,
everything they've got.
holding nothing back. Ambrose, no. Barrett caught him. Barrett with the suplex, okay.
By the fighter from Manchester. The bare knuckle fighter doing what he does best. Big right hand. Ooh, blocked.
Ambrose now catching Barrett, forcing him down to the ground with a submission hold, but both his Nexus mates helped push him towards the ropes there.
He was able to reverse that. Man, this is one of those matches you just like to sit back and enjoy watching. He's had enough.
Ambrose looking for a submission victory once again, and the Nexus being held off, but it looks like Barrett was released by Ambrose willingly.
Together in support. They're urging him to turn it around.
Gotta be careful here. A disqualification would still be enough for them to lose their spot on Raw. Come on, Gabriel. Come on, Gabriel. No. Well, the Shield are officially a part of Raw, and the Nexus are down to NXT, and I don't like the way it happened, but it happened, so it's too bad. It's too late for that now. I really thought that was going to be a bigger ceremonious thing, but hey, the Shield are officially a part of Raw. Barrett, Gabriel, and Otunga are officially over on NXT, not SmackDown. The change has taken place. What do you know?